I used to listen to a band. Oh my God, now I'm gonna go blank. And they played violin in it, but it was like pop punk stuff. Oh my God. I don't know why I just said that and I'm being recorded. Now I can't fucking remember. Yellow Card. Was it Yellow Card? I don't remember. Anyway, he played violin and it was like poppy punk kind of music. And but it was pretty good back in the early 2000s, but now it's still on my playlist, but it's whatever. Don't worry about that.
Shall we dive in?
Let's dive into the shallow end and dive with our heads first, because that's what it feels like.
True crime.
True crime. True crime. True crime. True crime.
Your true crime. You want the boring stuff? Shit. You in the wrong place.
I hear shots! Okay, ma'am, calm down. What kind of shots?
I was branching out. That's when the cannibalism started. Eating of the heart and the arm muscle.
People say Ted Bundy didn't show any emotion. There must be something in there. I showed emotion. You know what people say? See, you really can get violent and angry.
As long as I can reach in your mind and control your fear because you're a coward, I'm going to play any game and I can play on you all the way to the White House.
The cops knew who I was and let me become a serial killer.
Making me feel that they were a part of me.
Give me the fire department or the police or the paramedics. Somebody. I don't care. You decide.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
Well, we ain't like everybody else.
Hello and welcome to the You Run podcast, True Crime Extended Cut Flavour. My name is Scott.
And I'm Heather.
And if you've listened to Extended Cut before, you know this is the episode that follows on from our main case, and we do some of the weirder, wilder parts, more conspiracy theories, all the strange stuff that we don't do in the main episode. Last time we were talking about HH Holmes, or as he become affectionately known, Triple H. If you know nothing about the case, you can go and check out our first episode. If you know a bit, or you don't want to go and check out the first episode because you're a little bit odd, I'll give you a quick recap and then we're going to dive into lots of things that we talked about on that episode and expand on them a bit more.
Yeah.
So HH Holmes was a con man and a serial killer from the 1800s. He was active between 1891 and 1894. He killed a minimum of 9 people with a maximum of possibly over 200. We'll talk about that later because no way he killed anywhere near that. As a con man, he was incredibly skilled. I gave you the first part of what the greatest con was on our last episode, that he may have escaped the hangman's noose. You're going to have to stick around for the rest of that story. I'm not going to give it to you straight away. You need to wait. It's worth the wait. Sorry.
I don't know. Is it though? I mean, it is to listen to us. But I was like, I can't.
Do you know how many messages I got going, you son of a bitch, I have to listen now because I need to know.
Well, yeah, because it's like an ultimate conspiracy theory, but also a lot of people probably don't know about that little cup of tea right there. Like they don't know about that little part because like it's so old, it's so long ago that people are like, okay, yeah, I know who HH Holmes is, blah blah blah, but they didn't do any research to be like, what? They zoomed in like recently. So
and well, we'll find out if he did escape the hangman's noose later on. If you like the show and you want to support us, give us a 5-star review wherever you can. Recommend us to a friend. Say something nice about us. Send us a message. Send us an email. Whatever you want. It's really easy.
Yes.
We're kicking things off with Jack the Ripper. Weird, I know, sorry. Many people believe that HH Holmes and Jack the Ripper are in fact the same person. And there's a thread of possibility to this. I'm going to give you the theory that how it's been portrayed to the world. So the theory has come out from one of the descendants of Jack the Ripper, allegedly. There's no proof this guy's the descendant because we don't know who Jack the Ripper was, but he's the descendant. And in his theory, he's also the descendant of HH Holmes because they're one in the same.
Yes.
He inherited some journals that he believes to be Holmes' journals. And from these, he worked out that Holmes was in London committing murders with an apprentice after escaping the noose in the US and fleeing to the UK.
Yeah.
He's found the name Holmes, H. Holmes, on a shipping log around this time. And that was all the evidence he needed to go, yes, that's it. I've got it. I'm calling bullshit on this. So bad bullshit.
Like, I need to know how he discovered that he thinks that Holmes is his great-great-grandfather, you know, like a descendant. Okay, just because you have the same last name. There's a lot of people that have like last names and they have absolutely no relation to each other. There are some instances where it's like, oh shit, yeah, you're once related down the road, whatever. But it just said that when I was reading about it, I was like, oh, they were just at dinner and it's like, hey, bruh, HH Holmes was your great granddaddy.
That's kind of the vibe I get to it. And like,
choke on my burger much. Like, come on.
It's such a tenuous thing he's put together. And I'm going to pick it apart now in the most polite way I can with trying not to upset this guy in case he ever listens. So H. Holmes being on a shipping log in the 1800s means absolutely nothing. Holmes was one of the most popular names in the 1800s. And I'm pretty sure H. Holmes could be Henry Holmes, Harry Holmes, Houdini Holmes, Heather Holmes, because it could be anyone. So that's the first thing that I kind of went, So then I'd done a bit of digging and I found some photographs of this alleged log, and the dates don't quite work for me. So the dates don't work to the point that Holmes would have docked in the UK. He would have taken on his new persona as Jack the Ripper and committed his first murder within 6 days of docking.
Yeah, I don't.
That's a fast turnaround to get docked, somewhere to stay, sort all your your luggage and all your other stuff, and then go straight out and kill. It just doesn't ring true. It's just weird.
It just sounds like someone who's really fucking bored and they're like, oh, there's this possibility because also one of the reasons why he believes this shit, just to throw this in, is because he had a handwriting expert analysis, like do the handwriting in the journals or the diaries. Okay, well, I know that that's a thing. I'm not discrediting that. I know that is a thing.
But
at the same time, it's not 100% though, because I can write. I'm going to tell you something. I write different all the time. I'm sure there's some certain characteristics of how I write, so you would know. But
But not only that, all of the letters that allegedly come from Jack the Ripper, none of them were confirmed as coming from Jack the Ripper. None of them were confirmed even coming from the UK. They may have been sent from the US to...
exactly. Yeah,
it's just another really tenuous link. The main reason I'm saying that these aren't linked, so... The similarities between H.H. Holmes and Jack the Ripper is they allegedly with Holmes, we know he had surgical training. And the theory is that Jack the Ripper was also surgically trained because of the way
he dissected his victims and stuff. Yes. But I mean, is that just, have you ever heard of this word called coincidence?
Exactly. And
some people kill the same.
Yeah, the big difference between them, though, is Jack the Ripper killed in a brutal manner. It was very methodical, but it was very brutal. And then he displayed his bodies. And he'd done that to gain notoriety and to drum up fear within London. It was to make him the big, bad Ripper that people wouldn't go out in the streets.
I didn't think he was real.
Jack,
I'm just on my bullshit. Just don't worry about it.
I'm still convinced it was Jill the Ripper, and if you don't know what that is, go and listen to the episode, our very first episode. H.H. Holmes killed in private, and from what I could work out, at least 90% of his murders were a crime of necessity to either complete a con or to cover up a con that was ongoing.
Yeah, exactly.
There doesn't seem to be any sort of hunting or stalking or killing, and he definitely didn't display any of his bodies. Went to great lengths to hide what
he
he'd
did.
done.
Actually, quite opposite of what we know about Jack the Ripper.
Yeah, their motivations are completely different. Holmes was motivated by money, and he reveled in the fact that he was an entrepreneur. He was a money-making man, whereas Jack, or Jill the Ripper, was a sport killer who enjoyed the hunt, enjoyed the notoriety, and actually took pleasure in the kills, and didn't do that to make money. Done that because he took satisfaction, or she took satisfaction of going out,
killing,
and going out, gutting prostitutes. That's what made them happy. I would argue that Holmes's descendant, in inverted commas, inherited some journals, and also his grandfather's ability to con people out of their money, because he released a best-selling book called Bloodstains, detailing how he believes these killers are linked. And he made an absolute fortune. Not satisfied with that, he went on several documentaries detailing how he'd found this link, and also detailing how HH Holmes was related to Meghan Markle, which means Jack the Ripper was related to Meghan Markle. And all of this was at the time where Meghan Markle was big in the news. This guy is a con man who's just preying on true crime community and conspiracy theory lovers to make money. I said I wasn't going to talk him down. How did I do?
Well, this is the thing. This is the thing. You know what I'm saying? Anybody can say that they were related to anybody by doing this and that. I could say that I was a descendant of whoever without having to give much proof to anything. My thing is, like, everything I've read about Jeff Mudgett is the one claiming to be a descendant. I don't know. I guess I don't. Either I'm stupid, I'm missing it, but like I literally could not find where's the real proof. Like, did y'all do DNA type shit? No, somebody gave you some journals. Yeah. And so someone said, that's Jack the Ripper. Like, no. So that's what I'm saying. It's all fabricated. And then he wrote this really super boring book called Bloodstains. No one cares. I wrote some short stories. I didn't publish them, of course, but they're not that bad, actually. But I'm just saying that, like, this book, though it made him a ton of money, it just goes to show you, though, that anybody can, like, if you have a dream, you can go for it, I guess, because you can write a novel. He had somebody that did all the editing for it, I'm sure, but I heard it was like shit. That's what I'm saying. Everything I read was like, this book was like fucking to get through. Like, stupid.
It's going to be like that because he's trying to make links where there aren't links there. It's like when you listen to flat earthers and they explain how the earth is flat, and then someone will go, well, here's scientific proof that the earth is a ball, and they'll go, yeah, but I once saw this, and that means that you're wrong. And it's just that kind of mentality. And this is what he's doing. Like, I've seen people on documentaries say to him, well, how could you say this? And he always goes back to, well, the handwriting analysis. And they go,
well, that's his like only proof. That's what I'm saying. That's his crutch. That's the only thing that he can keep throwing in people's faces.
Yeah, but it's 60% match. It's not even a full match. It's 60%.
I know this. That's what I'm saying. It's not 100%. And unless y'all were like getting DNA or somehow, I don't really know how they would do that now, because being that Holmes, this has been a while since he died, of course. I don't know what the technology is on that. I know that we have technology for that, but I don't know what they would do, because I'm not a fucking scientist and shit.
No.
But at the same time, I can write a letter and I can see something you wrote, Scott, and I can say, I bet I can kind of write like that. And then the handwriting analysis is like, fucking Scott wrote this shit. I'm like, no, bitch, I did. Stupid. That's what I'm saying. It's just so silly, because I think that that's not really a good field to get into. So sorry about anybody that's a handwriting analysis expert.
Yeah, and apologies to to Mr. Mojo. If I've upset you in any way, I genuinely believe you're a con man. I'm sorry.
I don't apologize. So
No.
you say what you want. I don't care. I don't know him.
Well, now we're suitably riled up. Shall we talk about some real true crime in a new feature, our first ever True Crime Corner?
Yes. I was excited about this new part because I'm ready to. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah,
I'm ready.
This is True Crime Corner.
So I'm going to be keeping names out of this for the first edition, not to be secretive, but this is an active case that has not reached trial. And with a little bit of clever Googling, from what I tell you, you will be able to work out what case this is. But I'm not going to give names. But if you type in some key phrases and things that I'm saying, you will find this pretty easy.
Absolutely.
So a listener reached out to us a little while back, and this was actually the inspiration for True Crime Corner. And I spoke to this listener and said, look, are you happy for me to share this on the air? Because there's so many people who have true crime in one way or another touch their lives. I wanted to get people's stories, and they agreed. And for the sake of this, I'm going to call our listener Shelley.
Okay.
So Shelley told me she had met the nicest guy online. They'd been talking for months. Shelley had had a loss recently in her family. And this guy was super supportive, checking in if she's okay, and just all around being a good friend, a good online friend.
Yeah.
They'd been talking for about 8 months, and this guy stopped responding to messages. And Shelley done what most girls would do. She wrote to a couple of friends and went on an online search mission to try and find where this guy had gone.
For real.
So her friend, we'll call her friend Emma. So Emma and Shelley started making inquiries online, going through social media accounts and talking to other people in the community, because this guy was very active and spoke to a lot of people. And they discovered that this guy had been messaging lots of other women, which there's no great crime there. There's nothing.
It happens.
Guys message lots of girls. Guys are like that. At this point, Shelley had been planning on meeting this guy later this year. They both got pets, and they were going to meet up, and they were going to do a dog walk and all this kind of nice stuff. So they'd done some digging. It led them to some local news sites, and they have found that this guy had been arrested for murder. Not just any murder, though. This guy had met up with a woman that he met online and brutally murdered her. Her remains were scattered across a 3-mile radius in local woodlands. And he was linked and arrested on a DNA match. Thankfully, Shelley didn't meet up with him, and is still with us.
Yes.
And there are some really valuable lessons in this. Be careful who you meet online. And two women can find out everything on the internet. Guys don't try and hide anything.
I can find anything out. I can find shit out about people when they ain't got nothing but their first name.
But this blew my mind.
I don't need the last name. No, it blew my mind too, because knowing the person, and I'm just thinking, like, how do we ever know how close to death that we really are when we think about it? Now, you and I are both we're married. It's maybe I say a little different. We're not online talking to the opposite sex, like in that way, obviously. So it's a little different because we're both in relationships. But like, if we weren't, and we were like on dating sites, which is, I met my husband on a dating site. I did not immediately meet him. We did talk for quite some time. But you never really know. That's the thing. It's very scary to think that, like, in this year, you can't safely talk to someone who you might have a connection with, and you're like, oh, this is really awesome. And then they could kill you. They could chop your head off, strangle you with your purse. It's insane. And that's the thing about being safe. Like, how do you ever know?
Yeah, it's genuinely scary. And like,
it's very scary.
Shelley is a friend of yours and mine, and she's a super, super nice person. She's
love her.
Very trusting, very open and very honest. And if she thinks someone's being open and honest back, had she gone and met this guy, that could have been the end of Shelley. And that That's terrifying.
That it's a whole level of terrifying. And so I cannot imagine what she is mentally thinking, like going through the process of thinking that that could have been me. And who's to say that if they met, she wasn't the one that was murdered, but you don't know.
No.
And why did he choose to murder this set? You know what I mean? Like, he had talked to lots of girls. And so it makes you wonder, like, how is it random, like randomized like that? Yeah. It's like, to me, it makes no sense. How do you know which one you're going to kill? Like, did she reject him?
Or was it just the first one who agreed to meet him? It's genuinely
maybe in person,
scary.
maybe.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Thankfully, Shelley's okay. This is an ongoing case with a bit of clever Googling. You'll find this case quite quickly. Shelley's given over all of her information and messages and stuff to the police, and from what I can work out, their case is about as rock solid as could possibly be. If you have a story for True Crime Corner, email us, yourunpodcast@gmail.com, or DM us on any of our social medias. That's Instagram, TikTok, Trends, Twitter, and the Slasher app, and we'll get them on the air. If you want to be anonymous, you can. If you're open and you want us to tell everyone who you are, we can do that as well. If you bring us a true crime scenario that is big enough and we can talk openly about, so it's not an active case, we may even dedicate an entire episode to it.
Yeah, I want to add too, to just so that everyone knows who's listening, that if you do reach out to us and you do have a case and you do want to be anonymous, you can 100% trust Scott and I that we will keep you. There will be no telling anyone. So I just want people to feel safe, we're not gonna use it in that sense for nefarious reasons. It will, only with your permission would we use the story, and of course all names would be changed. Anything you need changed, because I understand some people are just scared, and I get that. I totally get that.
Yeah, and if you want names changed, we'll change names. If you want locations changed, we'll do that. You can even pick the name that you use for yourself. So if you want to stay anonymous, we genuinely wouldn't share that. I would keep it anonymous, as I have done for Shelley. And
sure.
100%. So if you've got a brush with true crime, and it doesn't have to be a brush with a murderer, it can be a brush with a kidnapper or anything like that, send them in.
That's scary though. I don't think I have. I know we talked about this before, and I jokingly said I probably have encountered a murderer. So I'm not trying to make, like, it's not something to joke about, but in that context, yes, it was, because I was like, I probably have encountered one night with a murderer. Who knows? But
you and me spoke about this, and you know that I have had a brush.
You have.
I'm going to save my True Crime Corner for when we don't get one. So when we don't get a True Crime Corner for extended cut, I will share mine. And I had a wild night with someone who later turned out to be,
Hey, sometimes I'm gonna say what I said, but sometimes bitches be crazy. So don't cross us. But also, you got saved a little bit out of that situation, and again, we won't give any more details, but I kept trying to think when we were talking about it, and I was like, honestly, I don't know. Have a few, maybe some people gone to jail, but not for stuff like that. It's just like this loser I dated that went to jail for like whatever. There you go.
I think you've all waited long enough, and we've just teased you with something else now. So the wait is over. Did Holmes pull a Houdini and escape the hangman's noose? Well, the team exhumed the body in 2017, and they checked the core of the dent of the tooth to get the minimal DNA that they could. So they drilled up through the teeth into the skull and extracted everything that they could to work on. Did it match? Kind of. It's definitely not 100% conclusive. But what they found on the way to the discovery is even cooler. So we'll get to what happened. But when they were digging the coffin up, they reached the coffin and they opened it. and it was empty.
I
And
don't know about that.
they had an absolute meltdown going, oh my God. So they lifted this coffin out of the ground and they kept digging. About another 2 foot down, they found another coffin and they exhumed that, which had a body in it. The body was 5'2". A medical record stated he was 5'8". And they quickly worked this out when they took his shoes off. The man wore lifts.
I'm 5'2".
He wore lifts in his shoes to make
He
him
wore
5'8".
6-inch lifts.
He
so
was
it's like wearing like 6-inch like stilettos, like high heels for women.
Yeah. So he wore lifts too, but he was a con man. He needed to be taller. I don't know.
Yeah, but like, what? Like, okay, sorry, I don't need to focus on just that, but I'm like trying to think about Mr. Holmes walking around with his fucking jacked up shoes. Like, what you doing? You a short king.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
They were only given 14 days with the body. Once it was exhumed, the team and the court and the family appealed the court to get more time because they needed more time to work on the body, and the court refused. They got several negative results that it wasn't that it was Holmes's body. They got one that said it wasn't. They got one that said no, we don't think this is Holmes. It could have been someone else. And I'll be honest, I quite like the idea of him slipping the noose for one last con. 100% he should have been executed and should have died for what he'd done. But there's the crime romantic in me that likes the idea that they put someone else in the ground while he was sat on a ship sipping a martini.
I wish y'all could see my face. I don't know about that, Mr. Scott. I'm just going to go ahead and say he wasn't. I don't know. The Houdini, like, how the fuck he just slipped from the... Okay, whatever. My brain can't handle it because I'm like, I am too of a realist.
Yeah.
So, like, for me, things like that, I'm just like, even magic shows. Have you ever watched any magic shows like David Blaine, like Chris Angel type shit like that? I can't without having severe, like, it gives me head trauma because I'm thinking like, logically, I don't understand this, and I get that it's just magic. It's a, sleight of the hand or whatever. But I just don't like it when they do it. It bothers me because I'm like, how did you do this? It's like, who's it, David Blaine that would levitate?
Yeah.
Bitch, how he levitate?
I know how to do that trick.
You better do it next time we all keep the video because look, are you a ghost?
No,
because...
I tell you what I'll do when we drop extended cut. I will share this clip and I will levitate. I will do a video of me levitating to show you I can do it.
Wait a minute. Did you get a handwriting analysis expert, and are you actually David Blaine?
I can neither confirm nor deny.
That's about how stupid the rest of this shit is. Just saying.
Well, let's do some facts. Let's bring it back to reality and do some facts.
Hey, Scoob. It's time for facts, bro.
Holmes was bullied because he lied, basically. He was just a horrible kid. So what he used to do is he would manipulate information that he was given, and then he'd try and play everyone off against each other, trying to be just clever. And they picked on him. When they discovered he had a fear of skeletons, they forced him to stand in front of a skeleton in the doctor's office and stare at it. While he scared at it, Holmes said it was this that got him over his fear of death and led to his fascination, which is very unhealthy fascination with cadavers. And it was this in young school that made him want to become a medical doctor.
Okay. I mean, like, he got a skeleton inside of him, like we all do. I know we're trying to do facts, but that made me remember this stupid shit I saw on Instagram the other day, this reel, where this woman, it was just like a reel, so it was like a quick little clip, where the woman was scared of olives, like the olives that you eat. Have you seen that? It was on Maury Povich or something. So like he's like, here you go, Marilyn, or whatever her name was. And he like shows her the jar of olives, and bitch, she took off running. I had to watch it 4 times.
She nearly fell off the chair and she screamed and like scrambled across the stage.
I don't want to make fun of people for being like, okay, I know that sounds really ugly. I know it is really mean, but at the same time, I'm gonna come for you if you scared of olives.
Yeah,
it was too much. I was laughing my fucking ass off because I was like, bitch, they in a jar. They ain't even gonna get you.
I understand phobias. I have a phobia of guinea pigs.
Scott.
It's so irrational. I know they're tiny, and if I wanted, I could squish it. And I know
you
it can't.
Step on it.
Yeah, I know it can't hurt me, but I don't like the noise they make, and I don't want it anywhere near me.
I don't even know I don't like animals. I'm not like I don't hate animals. I'm just not an animal person. But like, what does a guinea pig sound like?
They make like a squealing noise when they get excited, and they run.
Pig?
Yeah, kind of, and they run in circles, and I just don't like it.
Oh my God, y'all, I can't. I didn't even pour enough wine for this.
Moving swiftly
Moving on.
Holmes was married to 3 women at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So he married his wife Clara in 1878 when he was about 19. 2 years later, they had a son. And Holmes abandoned them and married Martha Burkamp in 1887. But he hadn't divorced Clara. He filed a few weeks later for divorce, and it never went through. But he didn't care because he married Georgina Yoke on the 17th of January, 1894, not long before he was arrested for insurance fraud. So technically, he was still married to his first wife and his second wife, and his second wife when he was put to death in 1896.
Well, it was is that like polygamy, right? That's like what you would call it. I wonder if it's that.
That was illegal.
I guess it's like illegal. It's still like illegal now.
Yeah, unless you're part of one of these weird polygamy cults where you can have like 30 wives.
Oh yeah, like the sister wife shows well, I don't think that they acknowledge it, to be honest with you. I think that it's like one of those things where it's like, yeah, obviously you're only married to fucking Patricia. You're not married to Joan and whoever, like you are, but like there's not like the legal aspect of it. Like you're really only legally have one wife, even if you have 19.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And
so
I find it so strange as well. And I think
stupid.
You need to be a certain type of man to have multiple wives. I have one wife. That is more than enough. I do not need a second. I think if we asked your husband, he definitely does not need another wife. You're plenty for him.
More than enough. Let me just say something. Have you ever seen some of them men that got all the multiple wives?
Yeah.
They're ugly as fuck. Like, how do you even get one wife? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
It's all linked to religion, isn't it? That's the thing. It's like
true.
Jesus, young lady, says that you need to be part of this man's family. You need to be his 5th wife. We know you're only 17, but this is our religion. Yeah.
I think we started on that because this thing, it's not that, but we all know Jesus ain't say that shit because he ain't like, oh yeah, go marry 15 fucking hoes. No, they're not really hoes, but they wear the ugliest clothing too. It just got me thinking about the Duggars. Like, I don't know if that's a show that you would watch that came on in the UK. There's like the Duggars, 19 and counting, where she had like all the fucking kids, and then her oldest son is in a jail for child pornography.
Oh wow, really?
It's fucked up. Just when you get some free time, or if you Google, like, his name is Josh Duggar, it's fucking bad, Scott. Like, it's
that sounds bad.
But does it kind of makes like, look what he came from. Like, makes sense to me.
Yeah, it's not nice. Not nice.
No.
Holmes sold his victims' skeletons to medical schools. As a former medical student, he had lots of connections to do this, but he never wasted anything of the body. So he used to strip the flesh from the bodies and he'd basically dissect them all down. The rumours are that he used to sell parts of the meat to butchers. He would sell other body parts to other medical professions, and then the rest of it he'd toss into lime pits and acid. And then he'd have a perfectly beautiful skeleton to sell as well. So he used to make an absolute fortune from these bodies, which is horrific.
I mean, mean, okay, whatever. We still don't really know that for sure. And like,
No.
were people eating people meat? And who knows? Probably.
Yeah, probably.
Whatever.
There's a few books and a few documentaries on HH Holmes. Honestly, they're all dull. They're all boring.
Yes.
I found I watched one documentary and about halfway through I was considering watching anything else. We did get robbed of a really good movie though. So Leonardo DiCaprio was going to star in a movie as Holmes. It was going to be directed and written, or it had been written and directed by Martin Scorsese. And it was going to follow Holmes from his arrival in Chicago through to his death.
Yeah.
It was cancelled because of COVID, and they never started it again.
Well, I'm not saying to blame COVID, but thank God for COVID? Question mark? Because it wouldn't be no good. Okay, yeah, he fine. He cute. I like him. He does date way younger women, which is a little questionable. It's a little weird because he's like almost 50. I think he's like probably pretty close to 50. 48, 49.
I think he is over 50 now.
But he still looked pretty good. But anyways, I just like he's a good actor. It's not that. It's just the fucking premise, the meats of the stuff is boring as fuck. Like, how are you gonna make this interesting? You know what? They're gonna go in and fabricate it, and then it's not even true. Okay, we already don't know what's true, but then you go in and you try to make a movie, so it's extra fabrication. So basically, you just have a normal horror movie that is just made up. And I get it. Don't get me started on remakes and bullshit. I've seen those posts you be putting the post out. I'll be like, I am not watching this shit.
I think we can safely say that you and me are done with HH Holmes.
Yeah, I'm done with him. Don't ever put him by. No.
As always, if you want to send us your thoughts, you can do that by sending us a DM on any of our social medias. It's at You Run Podcast everywhere. If you want to go follow Hella. If you want to go follow Heather directly, it's at Wednesday Wine and Horror on Instagram. Or you can send us an email, yourunpodcast@gmail.com. And don't forget to send in your true crime stories. Next time, we are back with something very, very special. We're going to go diving into some cults.
I'm excited as the fuck. Like, literally, I don't even know what scale of excitement that's on, but the fuck is way up there. So, like, I'm excited because this is more of my, would you say wheelhouse? Yeah. Like, this is, like, where I shine more because I watch lots of documentaries, and not even for the show, just in my own spare time when I can watch something that, with an 8-month-old, when I can watch something and take me 3 days to watch a 45-minute show. But yeah, I love it. I'm super excited about cults. It's gonna get dark, you guys. Y'all better turn y'all's lights on. It's gonna get dark.
And cults is the one thing that I've avoided since we started. And
I know. We talked about it.
It's going to give me sleepless nights. Many, many sleepless nights.
If we get some of the ones that I'm sure we will get, you're going to be like, someone need to talk to you about this podcast. Because they're pretty bad. I'm going to be honest with you. It's fucking tear-jerking bad, some of them.
You sent me a few. I picked a few random, and we polled them. And the ones you sent over, I had a quick look. And like a quick look was like, that's enough. I know enough.
There's a couple in particular. Actually, one in particular that I think every podcast on earth has probably covered it. If they did, true crime podcast, it's been done. But again, we get it. We're still going to do it.
It's not been done by us.
It's not been done by us. But what I'm saying is it's very popular, but it is fucking, the documentary alone, I cannot watch it almost. It's so fucking hard for me to sit through. And I'm pretty thick-skinned on a lot of stuff, but it is extremely hard because it's the audio. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm not giving names out. You guys, get out there, vote, do your thing, pick our case. But like the audio I don't care. If you don't get teary-eyed, you're a piece of shit. You're a piece of fucking shit. I said it.
Now, all I'm going to say is, yay.
Yay.
And until then, Heather, time to say goodbye. This is your bit. I'm going to sit back now and panic about the fact I have to research a cult for a month.
Yeah, don't look. guys. Okay, I need everybody to send positive vibes to Scott during this difficult time of his. It's okay. Don't panic. It'll be okay. But usually, you guys, I try to close out and make it like funny. I try to do a little song. Again, I didn't come up with anything. I was not inspired. HH Holmes does not inspire me except for to literally never talk about him again. Thank you. But you guys, we appreciate you listening. So excited for our next round of cases. Until next time, stay safe, stay spooky, and see you guys later. Bye.
See you later.
True crime.
True crime. True crime.
True crime.
True crime.
Your true crime. You want the boring stuff? Shit. You in the wrong place.
I hear shots. Okay, ma'am, calm down. What kind of shots?
I was branching out. That's when the cannibalism started. Eating of the heart and the arm muscle.
People say Ted Bundy didn't show any emotion. There must be something in that. I showed emotion. You know what people said? See, you really can get violent and angry.
As long as I can reach in your mind and control your fear because you're a coward, I'm going to play any game and I can play on you all the way to the White House.
The cops knew who I was and let me become a serial killer.
Making me feel that they were a part of me.
Give me the fire department, or the police, or the paramedics. Somebody. I don't care. You decide.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
Well, we ain't like everybody else.